Well, aloha kakahiak, everybody, and happy Valentine's Day. We're glad you're with us. I'm Peter Kay, and you have joined us on the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. Happy for you to be here. Glad you're all with us, and I'm especially glad that I've got my friends with me here today. We've got Dylan Nonaka hailing from the Big Island. We got Heidi Dollinger from Maui, and we have Ashley Wasan from Oahu. And just wanted to kind of say hello to everybody. Oh, let me go back really quick. I'm going to zoom back here to the screen. What our lineup is, I want to give you all a welcome in e komo mai, which means welcome in Hawaiian. We're going to start with some Hawaii news. We have market updates, what's going on the various real estate markets, things that you're going to want to know, some good headlines. Of course, we've got your questions, and we've got a really good one for today to go over. We're going to have some what we call diamonds and deals, going over properties and that we think are interesting and worth looking into. And then finally, we're going to close with some motivational thoughts. So with that, the first thing we have to do, though, is we have to warm up. And today, of course, it's a special warm-up day because it is Valentine's Day. So I actually found this cool thing on ChatGPT that I'm going to be sharing. We're going to do warm-up. And so with the warm-up is just kind of getting the mics going and getting the internet, the interwebs happening and the internet going. And so let's see here. Let's start with Dylan. Why don't we start with you? Ashley asked a cool question right before we got online. How are you doing? What's the, wait. Here's the warm-up question. I'm sorry. I got distracted. Here's the warm-up question. The warm-up question is, what, if anything, are you doing for Valentine's Day? If anything, or did, or will do for Valentine's Day. Dylan.
My wife is very simple, so she just wants to have a beverage on the porch and watch the sunset, and maybe we'll get some a charcuterie board or something. So that's what we're doing for Valentine's Day. Pretty easy.
Beverage on the board with some charcuterie. That's a good one. All right, excellent. And what's the shirt today?
This is the living hula. This is my pink living hula, so I figured it was appropriate for Valentine's Day, but always representing the living hula brand.
There you go, man. Represent. Heidi, what's going on with you? What's the coffee, and what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
So I'm actually on Molokai today. So unfortunately, I'm away from my husband, but I'm getting a new listing staged and photographed because I love real estate. But it's actually really awesome over here. There's, I know there's an egg shortage, but there are so many chickens on this property. I got some fresh eggs. And it's incredibly beautiful and peaceful. And I went to Kaunakakai and got some coffee early this morning and walked out to the beach. So I'm just enjoying.
Did you just go over this morning, or were you over there last night?
So I had a showing yesterday, so I came over for the showing, and then normally I just fly over for a day, but the flights were all full, and then I had to be here Saturday and Sunday, so I just stayed.
So for Valentine's Day, you're in love with Molokai. That's the way I summarize that for today. Yes.
I'll celebrate with my husband later when I return.
There you go. There's always time for that. Always time for a celebration. Excellent. Great to hear. Ashley, how are you doing today? How's the weather on Oahu? You're the weather girl. How's the weather on the windward side today? And what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day?
It's just absolutely perfect, but not much wind. So it'll be a nice, warm, hot day. We're working, and we did flowers, and we live with my stepdaughter and my assistant's here for the entire month. And so I just this morning had little gift bags for everyone to open and cards and stuff. So it was fun. I'm going to make heart-shaped raviolis tonight with some salad, and we're going to have a Valentine's Day dinner together because restaurants are so busy in the evenings, and I don't want to deal with that crowd.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Good for you. So my wife and I think, COVID really changed everything, right? COVID really, really changed everything. It made me realize a whole bunch of stuff, right? And one of the things is that we do go out to restaurants, but it's extraordinarily rare. So what we do now is like yesterday we did this. Foodland has these great pre-packaged dinners, and it's like a chef-made gourmet meal, like you're going to a fancy restaurant, at a fraction of the price. So you run through Foodland, they throw it in your car, you come back home, you heat it up, and 20 minutes you've got this great meal, you know. And I went up to Costco a few days prior, got 3 dozen roses. So we have roses throughout the house. We had a great dinner yesterday, and today we're going to have some more fun. We might go see a movie. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. 35 years of Valentine's Days. We counted it yesterday.
35 years of Valentine's and still 3 dozen roses. I don't care if they die 3 days later. I love them, and they are a good investment to the soul.
Hell yeah. That's what I say. That's what I say. All right, cool. Let me get I've got some kind of a weird network issue going on. I may be chopping. I apologize for that. I tested it before the show, and
your sound's good, just a little bit blurry on the video, so it's all good.
Okay, good. As long as it sounds good. There's a secret to the secret to good video. Good video is great audio. That is the secret to good video. So as long as we have good audio, I'm good. All right. Look, I'm gonna hit some news, and then we could talk about it if you guys want, if it's interesting, or we'll go on to our other stuff. But let me get into the news. Or some news I think might be worth it. So, man, there are a lot of this very, very, very tragic essentially family death that occurred over the New Year's Eve holiday fireworks explosion is really having some repercussions. And man, there are some fireworks going on about bills. It's all over the place. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to actually happen as a result of it. City Council is doing a strengthening the fireworks ban. Harbor inspections are they're threatening penalties. Lawmakers are pushing for stricter things. There's a lot going on, and sadly, the death toll has risen to 6. 6 people passed away. Very, very sad, and 8 are still being treated in burn units in Arizona and Honolulu. So that's a very, very sad thing. The state lawmakers are even considering a statewide ban, but it doesn't look. Actually, I'm going to correct that. They declined moving forward with a statewide ban, so they're not going to be doing that. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what's going to happen with that. We wish, of course, our prayers go to the families that have lost and those that are still ill. Interesting. Homeless. So there's they've had this program for a long time, not for a long time, but they've had this program where they're homeless people are being given tickets to go back to their homes on the mainland, and looks like that's going to may become permanent. So there may be a permanent. 2 bills are going through the legislature, which would make this a law. So to return homeless to where they've come from, where their families are. Personally, I'm in favor of that. In fact, I have even a better idea, but that's okay. No, I don't know if it's a better idea, but I think it's a good idea. Interesting. I don't know if you've been following the national front, the national news about U.S. aid and all this stuff, and FEMA, etc. There was a thing that went around that FEMA was spending $59 million to house illegal immigrants in luxury hotels, and I was like, as that was going on, whether that's true or not, I'm not sure, but I was thinking about the people in Maui, right? What do the folks in Maui think about that? And I just caught this story that the rent assistance is in fact going away March 1st. FEMA is the people that were within the FEMA program that were getting assistance are going to have to start paying their own rent starting in March 1st. And that was just I thought that was just kind of interesting to kind of think about that and how that reflects back on that other story. I wonder how the folks are thinking about that. Heidi, to your egg thing, there's the eggs we're kind of luckier, but demand for local eggs has skyrocketed. There's like a couple of local egg companies. One of our favorites is Waialua Egg Company. We love Waialua eggs, but man, you can't find it because they go off the shelves as soon as they can. I do find them at Costco every so often though, but that was interesting. No income tax state. So there's talk about eliminating the income tax altogether and raising the general excise tax, i.e. the sales tax. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. General excise tax normally hurts the poorest the most. But hey, any talk about eliminating income tax is a good talk as far as I'm concerned. And then finally, going nuclear, what you may not know is that Hawaii has actually in the state constitution is an article that says we will not have nuclear power. That came from the nuclear scares of the 70s, and it's still in our constitution. There is finally some discussions about ending that. There are a task force. Of course, we have a task force, right? To study the feasibility of advanced nuclear power in achieving Hawaii's clean energy goals, which is really cool. Personally, I'd rather see the volcano that is already spewing out gigawatts every single minute to power our state. But hey, I'll take clean energy if I can get it. All right, that's the news for today. I want to give a quick shout out to a few folks. If you've just joined us, please give us a shout out. Let us know where you're from. I'd like to recognize everybody who's here and participating. And with that, I want to say hi to Alex. Alex Martin, and welcome back, Alex. Good seeing you, buddy. Welcome back. Missed you for the past few weeks. Been busy, but I'm back. We are glad that you're back. And he says, hey, I've been wondering why they haven't been sending the homeless back, even though if I was homeless in Hawaii, I'd be ecstatic. Well, Hawaii has a lot of attraction for homeless people, as obvious attractions. But I do think, personally, I am in favor of, the folks that can't care for themselves here, go back to where their families are. I think it's great, frankly. Okay, so my crazy idea was, I think that we should have a kick you off the island law that says if you break laws, if you're a lawbreaker, you have a choice. You can either go to jail or you can go back to the mainland and never come back. And that's problem solved. That was my probably illegal, unconstitutional, you name it, idea. Anyway, Susie Q says, hey, aloha, we're spending Valentine's Day deep cleaning and prepping our house for listing presentations. That sounds like the house is going up on the market, Susie Q. Sounds like the house is going on the market. Good for you. Well, you got to talk to Heidi to get some tips, because Heidi's doing a house prep in Molokai. So that's got to be worth something, right? I would think. All right, good. And then Trish Phillips Litton, Portland, Oregon. Welcome, Trish. I believe this is the first time you're commenting. I don't recall your name. I'm glad that you're here with us. It's great to have you here. Welcome. All right. Man, that was like a long-winded. Was that long-winded? It felt long.
No, it was the perfect amount. Your mic is good, so it's good video.
All right. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. NYC, welcome back, NYC. Great to have you here with us as well. NYC is in the house. Excellent. Great. All right. Hey, let's some more people are coming in. Michael Latta. Michael, welcome back, buddy. Aloha from San Diego. Good to see you back. It's great to have all these comments. Please keep them coming. It's nice to see who's here with us. All right, let's get on with our market update. Give us the headline. Give us the headline, and then give us anything that supports the headline. Let's start with you, Ashley. Give us the headline, and then what supports your headline.
So we had a really thriving January in our real estate market. Single-family homes bumped up in prices in transactions 6.5% from last year January, and condos increased, which is really exciting because we've been talking on the show about condos stiffening in the market, and they went up as well, 6.8% in transactions. Prices increased as well, so the median for the single family homes was up, went up to 1.12, and condos went up to 539,000, which was a pretty significant 7.5% bump when we've been seeing condo prices going down and that area suffering. Pending sales did dip a little bit. It's down 5% from last year, but the amount of contracts are up higher. So we're going to probably see what that tells me is that we're going to see a nice second quarter for our market here if we're seeing contracts go up. There's more listings than ever before. So the inventory, as we know, continues to go up. That means that there's more options for buyers and possibly more negotiating room. But interesting fact here is that 23% of single family homes still sold above asking price, and 10% of condos went above asking price. And the price point that saw the most amount of offers and closed transaction below asking price is between 1.1 and 1.3 million. And those sales doubled. So overall, we've had a great start to the year.
So how would you summarize that whole thing? That all those numbers that you gave, what would you summarize? Like, okay, what happened in the past? What happens? Let's say in the past month.
It's an exciting month for real estate transactions. Buyers are still able to negotiate. There's more inventory for them to choose from, but sellers are still getting close to what they want on their list price, perhaps with giving credits instead. They are selling faster and they are selling more consistently. So we're seeing higher transactions. And then we're seeing more pending sales and more contracts being drafted, which means that we're going to see a strong end to the quarter and beginning of next quarter. So it's a good indication of what we're going to forecast for March, April.
So it seems like the market is kind of like, not to say returning, because it never really left us, but it's kind of, it's kind of speeding back up again, whereas before it was kind of, not to say it was paused, but it was in an interesting kind of middle place.
Yeah, the higher price point is still going up and it's extremely strong as before, and the condo market really picked up as well. So I thought that was fascinating because for almost all last year, we've been kind of talking about how the condo market was suffering across the nation, the States especially, but at least here on Oahu, we're seeing that strengthen.
Excellent. So Heidi, before we move on to you, I want to give a shout out to Rich P from Minnesota. Rich, I just want to know, every time I think about Minnesota, I think about freezing my butt off. What's the temperature, Rich? How is the temperature? What's it like in Minnesota right now? How are you doing? Hope you're keeping warm. Heidi, give us the update. What do you see going on in Maui? What's happening? Give us the market update.
So number of showings has picked up a lot. So there's a good amount of activity in the market. This is our winter market, a busy time. We're definitely seeing tourism pick up and return. I mean, since the Lahaina wildfire and the Maui wildfires, August 2023, number of visitors on Maui has been lower, tourism has been weaker, but we are seeing that return. Our condo market on Maui, it's a strong buyer's market now with a lot of inventory, which means there's some good opportunities for buyers right now. So if you've been looking for a Maui condo, now could be a really good time as a buyer. Single family home market is pretty stable, about the same number of sales January this year as January last year. Number of condominium sales for January 2025 was down 43% compared to last year, which is, a low number of transactions. From what I'm seeing now, I'm anticipating that's going to pick up a little bit. But yeah, it remains to be a really good time for buyers right now in the Maui market.
Heidi, over the past few shows, I think a lot of the things that was coming out of that, the reasoning or the reason why that those prices were what you say is a buyer's market, because there was, and maybe there still is, a growing uncertainty with what's going to happen with vacation rental units. Is that still like what you think is the cause of it? What do you think that is making it more of a buyer's market in Maui?
Yeah, I mean, the uncertainty about potentially phasing out 7,000 vacation rentals, which was a proposal made by the mayor in May of 2024. I mean, that's had a huge impact on the condo market. Because a lot of would-be buyers have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for some clarity. Well, that proposal has not passed yet. It hasn't even been considered by the county council. It's seeming less and less like there will be a sweeping change, but we have to wait and see what the council decides to do. We're anticipating hopefully getting more clarity by end of June this year. But that uncertainty in the market has been creating opportunities for buyers right now. So, I mean, it just really depends on the individual's goals and objectives. So, it's an interesting time. We'll see what happens.
May you live in interesting times. Yeah. Well, so hence this isn't, like you said, it is generally a opportunity for buyers. Certainly, if you're planning on living in Maui, it's a great opportunity. If you want to invest in Maui from a vacation rental perspective, you're taking some risk. But again, that's the way it works, right? You take risk, you get reward. That's the way it all flies. There are no rewards without risks. At least that's the way, not the way I.
And I just wanted to add a comment about the FEMA program, I mean, my understanding is FEMA is renewing most leases and continuing. They're just requiring the tenants to pay like a certain amount based on their income or something. So FEMA might be paying the landlord like $8,000 a month, and the tenant has to pay like $2,000 or something like that. So FEMA is going to be around a while, is what we're hearing, like probably for another couple years, providing that support to fire survivors.
Excellent. Thanks for that update. I really appreciate that. It's your boots on the ground. So this is not quite the sensationalism that's being driven in the news, where millions for illegal immigrants and none for Maui residents. So that's great. Thank you, Heidi, for
Well, they're
helping
not just housing illegal immigrants. I mean, a lot of the people they're housing are like residents, like people that legitimately lost their house and they live in Lahaina, and they're trying to provide a transition because there are houses being built now in Lahaina from a couple years ago, but it takes a lot of time. Like the town's not going to be built in a year or two.
Oh yeah, look, I mean, clearly the folks in Lahaina is, 100, I would say, close to 100%. The sensational headlines was, we're spending millions to house illegal immigrants in New York luxury hotels versus giving the money to the people in Lahaina who need it. But thanks for dispelling those sensational rumors. That was the sensationalism that thankfully we are dispelling. Hey, before we go to Dylan, I want to give a shout out to Marco Capata. Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Aloha, Marco. Another first time, at least a first time commenter. Nice to hear from you, Marco. Welcome. We're glad that you're with us. Thanks for joining us. Dylan, give us the update. What's going on? How is the Big Island market doing? You guys have been going through all kinds of ups and downs and rounds. How's that coming along? And if you don't, you go ahead, go for it. Yeah. How's that coming along, Dylan?
It's actually, January was a pretty slow month in terms of number of sales. There was only 343, and that number is usually closer to 400. But there's a weird dynamic in that month where it's kind of like two measurements of market activity that we use, right? Like one is number of sales and the other one is sales volume. So the total dollar volume of all of the real estate that was sold. And a lot of times that trend kind of stays together. So if it makes sense, right? If less properties sell, the dollar volume is going to be lower because you total up the prices of all those properties. It's going to be relative to the number of sales that happen. But in January, we had the third lowest number of sales in the last 12 months, but the seventh highest dollar volume. So the stuff that sold was at a higher price point in January, but just fewer properties sold. So it's kind of an anomaly. Like you don't see that happen too often, where there's a big divergence from that. Like we had only 3 other months in the year that had this low of a sales number of units, and then there was 7 months that had a lower sales volume than we had in January. So kind of a weird thing going on in January. I'm not sure what's happening there, because we were seeing somewhat of a recovery from mid of last year, where the number of sales were continuing to creep up, but we're at 6 months of inventory right now. So that's a big tipping point, right? We've been talking about for all of these past few years since 2020, the lack of inventory, and that's really been driving prices. And we're pretty much at a balanced market right now. That's a little bit not 100% accurate, because when you add in land, it kind of slows that months of inventory down, because it's not as much. There's always more land available than there is demand. But overall, we haven't been at 6 months of inventory in the Big Island in like 4 years, and so that's by definition a balanced market. Less than 6 months is a seller's market. Over 6 months is a buyer's market. So we're kind of right at a balanced market right now, which it's been that weird kind of place where we've been talking about for months now. There's kind of an advantage on both sides. I mean, because of low inventory, it was still a good time to sell, and because of low inventory, low buyer volume, it was a good time to buy. But we're definitely technically, if you look at data, we're at a balanced market right now, a pretty even market.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, Dylan, you've got you mentioned, if you could repeat it, you said something like the number of sales is down, but the but the dollar average is up. What was that strange dichotomy again?
Yeah. So if you think about, if you sell 10 cars at 10 grand, your total volume is 100 grand, right? And so if you sell 2 cars, then it should be 20 grand, right? If you sell 8 cars, it should be 80 grand. And there's usually that kind of averages out, and the total volume of dollar volume of sales somewhat follows the trend of the number of units that sell. But we saw this divergence in January where the number of homes went down, but the dollar volume went up. So that basically tells you that there are higher price points selling, right? Because if several multi-million-dollar houses sell, it's going to add to the volume, even though less maybe small land sales didn't happen. That's the kind of dynamic that is going to cause that, but it's not something that we see very often. I mean, normally the dollar volume follows the sales volume, and we just saw a divergence this month.
So to use your car analogy, it's like cars used to sell for 10 grand and you sold like 10 cars in that month. This month you sold only 3 cars, but they were $50,000 cars. And so your volume was 150,000 versus 100,000, but you only sold 3 cars. That's kind of
exactly.
Is that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. That's interesting. I wonder what that might signify. If there's if it's a temporary blip or a long-term change in the market, is the are the higher end units coming into the fore that people can afford, and the lower end units are kind of, that market's kind of like going on pause. That's interesting.
Well, we see the same thing. Go ahead.
And a lot of times, I haven't dug that deep into the data, but a lot of times what causes this is like 2 $25 million houses will sell at the resorts, right? And that'll like jack the dollar volume way up.
That screws up
because
everything.
it doesn't feel right. Like I just did some market analysis yesterday for a client that has a $3.5 million property on the market, and we're not getting a lot of activity, and I wanted to see like what else is going on in the market. Is it just us, or is it a market wide thing? And there have only been 3 sales in the last 6 months of in the Kona area, between 2.7 and 3.7 million, like in that price range. So extremely slow for that segment of the market, right? I mean, 1 sale every other month, basically. So it's not necessarily, and then there's several on the market, that kind of range between 40 and 150 days on market. So it's just a good indicator that, it's not anything weird about this one particular property. It's kind of a market-wide thing. But so this was kind of surprising to me when I saw this, because I'm like, hey, I just looked at how slow the kind of luxury market is in Kona, but island wide, the data is telling us that there's been a higher dollar volume of property selling.
Right. Interesting. And okay, all right. So it's not interesting. So Ashley, you were going to jump in with, you see a trend of that's kind of seems to be going on Oahu. What's that all about?
Oh, same. Everything in the higher end market we've seen a pickup. So it definitely skewed, the price points. So we see the same thing too.
Yeah. High end units are.
The headline with all of this is like, data is very deceiving sometimes, and you really got to dig deep into it, right? If you just look at like the really broad market reports that people post on social media and stuff like that, I mean, they don't tell the whole story, because there's so much more going on. And if you have like specific interests in a specific area and a specific segment of the market, like you really got to dig into it to understand exactly what's going on, because the big picture stuff can be deceiving.
COVID taught us to never trust studies again. And if you ever hear about a study and you ever hear about research, it's not to be trusted. Hey, look, we've got a couple of good questions. Alex, I got your question, and Cardiac 161, Derek got your question too, and we are going to be hitting those questions. You'll just want to let you know that I did get them, and we're going to be hitting them. I want to give a shout out over here to Jim, Uncle Jim Stevenson. Jim, aloha, everybody. Made it, almost missed the show. Great to see the regular team. Jim is one of our original audience that has been with us, I think, since like day one. God bless you, Jim. And that's like going on 5 years now, dude. So it is great to see you again, Jim. Hope all is well. Jim, if I'm not mistaken, is from New York. Glad you're here. And Bob is becoming a regular. Bob, aloha from Hawaii Kai Peninsula. Excellent, Bob. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us. Good to see you again. Excellent. All right, great. Hey, let's do a quick commercial break. Are you in? Are you in the island near Ohana? How did you get here? Did you get it through a newsletter invite? Did you get the email that told you that the show is going to be on today? If you didn't, get on the newsletter. Go to livinginhawaii.com. A dialog box will pop up. You give your email address. Of course, you can unsubscribe at any time. It'll notify you of future shows, and we have great content every week that comes out on the newsletter that you really don't want to miss. Frankly, if Hawaii's for you, this is it. There's no other place. But if Hawaii's for you, you want to be in. Do you want to live in Hawaii? You want to go to living in Hawaii? I mean, it's pretty simple. All right, cool. And well, Joe, now you're watching it live, dude. Now you're watching it live, and now Joe says, "I've never watched this live." Now you are, and it's real because you just posted this, and now you're famous. You're getting hopefully 15 minutes of fame. Joe, welcome back. Great.
And I wanted to add to your station break, Peter. I don't know if we've ever even talked about it, but for those of you guys watching this, we do also. There's been a second show that's been happening every week, so that all that content gets put on Living in Hawaii also. So there's a recorded show with folks from all across the state. It's a different crew, but amazing information. It's a little bit shorter and it's really specific about specific topics. But go check that out because they've been putting out some really great content.
Thank you, Dylan, for that additional station break. We need to do another slide for this. We got to tell Kelly to do a station break slide for us. And so, but that's very true. It's every week now. So this week we do on this Friday, we do the real estate side. And on the other Fridays, we do more like island specific content, things that you want to know about Hawaii life and Hawaii culture. And you got people from across the state that are participating, which is awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Dylan, for mentioning that. And, well, Joe, you're very welcome, buddy. You're very welcome. You're totally welcome on that. And if like Joe and like others, if you're joining us, give us a shout out. We'd like to recognize you and see who's here. Let us know where you're from if you feel like it. Like Annette Kishbal. Greg, welcome, new listener here. Great to have you here with us, Annette. Where are you from? It's always kind of cool to see where in the country or the world people are coming from. We used to have a guy, Tom, who would come in from the UK, and that was like totally awesome. All right, so look, what I want to do here is I want to kind of loop into some questions. So if you folks are here live, like Joe, you're here live, just like Annette, who just told us that she's from Florida. Let me do it the right way here, Annette. Oh, there you go. Annette's from Florida. Welcome, great, awesome. But look, if you've just joined us, you come here, your priority, because you're here live, right? The ones that are here live get the questions priority. You got a question on anything. This is an Ask Us Anything show. Pop it in the comments and we'll hit it. I've got a question ready to go through, but we're going to hit the live ones that came in first and see if we can hit those. So, and they're going to come in the order that pretty much in the order that they've been received, pretty much, not always, but pretty much in the order they've been received. So let's hit Alex's first question for Dylan. If I'm a 100% disabled vet, do I get property tax exemption in Hawaii and vehicle registration fee exemption? So Dylan, I think that the general question is, what, if anything, what perks do 100% disabled? Very sorry to hear that, Alex. I whether you're speaking of yourself or others, I'm very sorry to hear 100% disabled, but it is what it is. Dylan, what does Hawaii do for vets or 100% disabled vets?
So on the property tax side, yes, there is an exemption. I believe, don't quote me on this, it's like $200 a year. So you just pay a flat fee regardless of what the valuation of the property is. Please verify that on the tax website, and with your specific situation, there is some paperwork you got to fill out to verify. And then on the vehicle the vehicle side of it, I'm not super sure about that. That's a good question. I'd have to check on that. I'm not aware of anything, or I've never seen anything like advertised, but it's possible. Ladies, do you guys know? You're aware of your counties, the exempt vehicle registration for vets? I'm not sure.
I think so. I don't know enough about it, but I know $300 is for us on Oahu for 100%.
Minimum tax rate, right?
Yeah, $300.
Wait, so run this by me again. The 200 or 300 is that? What's that you said? How does that?
You have to pay a minimum property tax rate. So basically, they exempt. If you owe $5,000 a year in taxes, they just charge you $200. I think it's $200 in Big Island. It may have gone up, but it's a few hundred at most.
So and for Oahu it's 3. So let me see if I get this right. you're normally, let's say you're going to pay, let's say $5,000 a year in property tax. Let's just put that number out there. If you're a veteran or disabled, let's say a disabled veteran in this case, your max, instead of the 5,000, you're going to pay, let's say 300 on Oahu or 200 on the big. Is that right? And you guys are nodding. That's a huge benefit. That's a great benefit. I'm so glad that they're doing that. That's awesome.
And also, there's also age exemptions too. So I think it's starting at 70 or 75 every 5 years. The property taxes go down based on your age.
For veterans?
No, just anybody.
Anybody. Oh,
yep.
Okay.
So make sure you check on that, guys. If you're a property owner in Hawaii, go and check and see if you got some additional tax benefit, because a lot of people, you actually have to file. It's not automatic. You have to go and sign an affidavit. Same thing if you're you want the homeowner's exemption. If you are an owner occupant, you have to go do some paperwork. It's not automatic. So unfortunately, I've come across many clients over the years that for years were paying the regular property tax rate because just nobody told them and they didn't know that they could file for an exemption. It almost cuts your property taxes in half if you're a homeowner in general. That's kind of the tax rate is 0.6% versus 1.1%.
Dylan, we have a new video we need to do. How to save. You're wasting thousands on extra property taxes. Heidi, you were going to jump in with something.
Oh yeah, well, in Maui County, there's no exemption for age, but the homeowner's exemption is huge, and anybody can get it if they're a full-time resident of Maui and they're filing taxes that Maui's their primary residence. It takes, if you're just moving to Hawaii, it takes a couple years to go into effect, but the savings is really, really significant. And yes, I am aware of pretty much 100% property tax exemption for disabled veterans. I do have a client that's getting that right now. So yeah, definitely important to look into all the ways you can save on property tax. I mean, we really have some of the lowest property tax for residents in the nation.
Oahu is $120,000 property tax exemption for any age as a primary residence. If you're over 65 years old, then it's $160,000 tax exemption.
Man, note to self, must make video on saving on your the title might be like the YouTube clickbait title might be, you're wasting thousands on property tax in Hawaii. Anyway, hey, that's great. Excellent. Thank you. And Alex is happy. That's awesome. $200 is good. Yeah, dude, it's totally good. It's fantastic. Because you could also ask them to value your home in Hawaii compared to your old home on the mainland. I think you could only ask twice in your life. Oh, that's an interesting one. I am not aware of that, but thanks for letting us know. Excellent. Okay, great. Thanks for that question, Alex. That was I'm glad that you put that to us, and makes the show better, dude. It makes the show better. All right, I think we have another one over here. Let's see. We've got this is Derek from Kahului. I don't know what that is, Anake, but I don't know what that means exactly. My something owns an STR in my uncle, maybe. How about
Auntie?
My uncle, Auntie. There you go.
Yeah.
Anake. So is Anake a real word? Is it like a Japanese word or something?
It's Hawaiian for auntie.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. All right. Got a first time listener. First time I've ever heard that used. Okay. My Anake owns an STR, a short-term rental in West Maui, and complexed is zoned hotel and apartment. What are the chances of multi-zone complexes being allowed to operate as a short-term vacation rental as usual? Heidi, you have any idea where that might be going for Derek's case?
Yeah, well, I think the fact that it's zoned hotel and apartment definitely puts the property in a much better position than a property that's just zoned apartment. I know there's a few of those complexes in West Maui that I'm aware of. So when they did all the planning commission hearings last year regarding this issue, the planning commission did recommend that the council move forward in doing some kind of vacation rental phase out, but they did say you might want to go back and look at some of these properties with dual zoning I know there's like Papakea, also Maui El Dorado, the community plan as hotel resort. I mean, I feel like those type of properties are in a pretty good position, but I mean, again, since we don't have any clarity from the county council yet, I mean, I can't really say. But there's nothing has passed, you know, there's no changes now that are happening. I mean, we're just waiting for the council to get back to looking at this issue again and seeing what they're going to do. But I would say the fact that it has dual zoning definitely puts it in a better position than some other properties.
So we're hopeful.
I know that's not a full answer, but
well, I don't think it's possible to give a full answer, really, but you can just give a general, hey, it's trending in this direction, and then direction generally is that, hey, it's a good thing. Better than not. If it was zoned as strictly apartment, you're kind of like, forget it. So it's good to at least have it zoned and apartment. And Cardiac 101 was kind of cool to let me know that Anake is aunt, Anakele is uncle, which is really, really cool. So that's great. First time, I'm embarrassed to admit, 40 years living in Hawaii now, I've never, first time I've ever heard that. And I have Hawaiian family, a Hawaiian nephews. Hey, I got to go back now. I get a legit now beef with my Hawaiian nephews who have never called me Anakele. They never call me Anakele Peter. They always call me Uncle Peter, but I never get on it. So I got a legit beef over here. Mahalo pi no ku panai. Hey, are you like just pumping that into like ChatGPT and giving the Hawaiian name for, you know, thank you very much, give me the translation? Are you doing that? Or because you're coming up with words that I have just been no one ever says that, dude. No one ever says mahalo pi'i no ko panai'i. No one says that. Nobody says that in Hawaii ever. So you're pumping that. You're guilty of ChatGPT translations because no one. But anyway, God bless. God bless. It's great. It's all good. It's all good. Better to do it and than to not do it. All right. Hey, you know, we must be on a roll here because we're getting all kinds of questions, which is great. We love it. It's terrific. It's fabulous. Let me see. So we got Derek's Kahului question, and I think someone popped in another one. Okay, a real quick one. I think how big is the solar power industry in Hawaii? You know, it comes and goes. You would think that like we would have more tax incentives over here in Hawaii because everybody wants to go green and we're supposed to go, you know, renewables, 100% renewables, blah, blah, blah. There's no tax incentive. That being said, the sun is powerful and it's well worth it. I don't know how Hawaii's solar industry compares with the rest of the world. I do know that we have unsurprising, we have one of the highest penetrations of solar panels on rooftops here for somewhat obvious reasons. It's always sunny. I don't know if any of you have any feedback on how the Hawaii solar industry compares to mainland volumes. Anybody got anything that they want to share on that one? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's popular. I mean, I've got solar. I don't want to get into that long story why I did it. I did it begrudgingly, but I did it. But anyway, yeah, it's actually, if we get to another question, we can talk some more about that. All right, let's see what else. Joe says, how long would you typically hold a property that transitions from owner occupied to investment before using a 1031 exchange? We are getting technical. Excellent. All right, who wants to hit Joe's question? Ashley, you do a lot of like real estate investment, 1031 swaps, and all that kind of stuff. So what's the answer to Joe's question?
Technically, the IRS does not have a strict requirement, but you want to hold it no less than a year. The 2 years is always a safe number, we like to say, but definitely no less than a year. You do want to have history of obtaining rental income, though, however, because the 1031 exchange is for investment to investment property. So the reason waiting 2 years is better is if you can show that you have collected rental income, and even better if it's on your tax returns.
All right, cool. Anybody else want to chime in and add anything to Joe's question?
Consult with a tax professional and get their advice before you do it.
Hell yeah.
Because that is a very, like Ashley said, it's a very gray area, right? Like you want to have as much evidence as possible. Like, don't have a homeowner's exemption on the property anymore. Make sure you're paying the full property tax rate. have in income, file taxes on it, pay the GE tax. I mean, all that stuff that you got to do, or transient accommodation tax if you're doing it as a short-term rental, but have lots of evidence so the IRS doesn't question you.
And there's specifically 1031 exchange professionals within, at least here, we have title escrow companies, and we refer and they hire and pay for a 1031 exchange specialist. So they help you facilitate and get everything in order. So if you need someone, let us know and we can get you the right person.
I mean, also, you might not need to do a 1031 exchange because there's a significant tax exemption of just selling your primary residence if you've lived in it so many years. I think it's like 3 out of the last 5 years. So 2 out of the last 5 years. So you might not need to do a 1031 exchange. You could just sell within that time frame and take that tax benefit.
There you go. Back to what Dylan said. Consult a tax attorney for sure. Excellent. Great job, everybody. And Derek, my apologies. Derek says, no. It goes, I know how to speak Olelo. So one of the few, I think it's a growing group because there's a lot of Hawaiian immersion schools where children are learning Hawaiian from in early years, which is fantastic. So thanks, Derek, for the correction here. I'm super happy that there wasn't a Chat GPT copy and paste, which is excellent. Mahalo piha. I did hear of mahalo piha. I have heard of that. I didn't know what it means actually. So fullest thanks. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So cool. Sue, yeah, Sue, I did do Duolingo, Sue. I did Duolingo and it sucked. And here's why it sucked. Because Duolingo throws all these Hawaiian words at you, all these Hawaiian phrases that no one uses. And Duolingo doesn't. Here's what Duolingo blows it on. Duolingo does not teach Haulis how to correctly pronounce Hawaiian words. It does not do that. So you get all these Haole people who think they're saying Hawaiian and they come over here and they butcher the hell out of the Hawaiian words. So focus first on correctly pronouncing Hawaiian words, right? Like for example, here's a funny one. Honolulu. It's not Honolulu. It's Honolulu. But everybody says Honolulu. It's not Honolulu. It's Honolulu. Right? There's an easy one for you. Anyway, thanks, Sue. I appreciate it. I did use Duolingo, but I was disappointed because. Anyway, okay. Have I ranted enough? Okay, enough. The rants are over.
Next slide, please.
Next slide, please. Next slide, please. It's time to move on to diamonds and deals over here. Move on to diamonds and deals. Next slide, please. All right. So we got some great properties that we want to feature and help you out with. So we're going to start with it's so cool because it's like it's opening up Christmas presents. Heidi, what are we looking at here? So
this is a 2-acre property. This is rural country living out in Haiku. It's a gated property. It's a gardener's paradise. You have all these fruit trees, flowering trees, raised garden beds, 3-bedroom, 3-bath home. And it's listed at 1925. There's even a little fruit stand by the side of the road so you can share your produce with the neighbors. And you can see there are solar panels on the roof of the house, which is great. And yeah, just really sweet property. Wanted to share it.
Sweet indeed. I mean, like you said, it's a gardener's paradise. I think as the most ungardening person in my life, it'd be like a nightmare. But if you love gardening, this is it, right? I mean, 2 acres for 1.9. I don't know what the prices are in Haiku. Obviously, that's market value, but that just seems like, I want to say, a deal. I mean, I don't know if it's a deal relatively speaking, but boy, to get 2 acres of land in Haiku, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Excellent. All right. Hey, before we move on, I want to give a recognition there to Jesse Naomi Grace. Olelo Hawaiian Native Hawaiian language. Olelo Hawaii is an official language. Yes, it is. It is official. Congratulations, Cardiac 161 for Derek for speaking and writing it. Yeah, I think it's completely cool. Completely cool. As someone who speaks, as someone like myself, Xerotalinika, que muna elnas protu ixarati the English glossa. I totally get it. I totally get the native. I get the native stuff, man. Greek. I totally get it, and I'm with it. I'm with it. Okay, great. Next slide, please. This is Princeville, which we're going to skip, and now we have Ashley, Eva Beach. What are we looking at here?
So this is a new listing we just came on, and it is a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, and it has a 6th room. You can see in the top corner there, it's a hidden speakeasy room. So you come up the stairs and it looks like a bookshelf, and you have to press a button and push the bookshelf open, and then you enter into this room, which you can't see in the photo, but there's a Murphy bed in there as well that fits out to a twin up against the wall while keeping all the other furniture in there. Just a really fun layout, super nice property. Corner lot has 50 owned solar panels, 4 LG batteries, a Tesla charger, and we're working with an attorney to see how we can market it to be sold with the Tesla. But I can't officially market that. The location, so this is in Kamakana and Ho'okale. It's a resort-style community, and it comes with a gym, pool, hot tub, pickleball, tennis court, and then you're like 5 minutes down the road from Waikai, which is like a water park for adventure and surfing and dining. Also, golf course just minutes away as well. Super nice property, 1.55 million.
Man, and there's enough electrical power out of that thing to kind of like power the house and the neighbors. That's a lot of juice, man. 50 solar panels. You said 50, right? 50 solar
50.
panels.
Well, Eva Beach. So this is a very hot, dry side of the island, and these have central AC. So you can get your electric bill can run up to over 800 pretty easy if you run your AC pretty regularly on the side of the island. So having this solar capacity is insanely helpful, and having it owned. A lot of solar does come leased, so the fact that it's owned is just a massive amount of value. And then also there are maintenance fees. Whenever you have a suburban heaven like this, you do have maintenance fees, and some areas are more dense than others. So if you're familiar, Kamakana is a very it's an elite location because you just have wider streets and sidewalks and more space between your homes, and the maintenance fees are low. So as you get closer to the golf course and the other places, your maintenance fees can double or triple. So this is a couple $100s per month to have the amenities I just mentioned.
That's awesome, man. That's totally awesome. I'm
Hey, what's the problem with selling the Tesla with it?
So it's not considered real property, and no one has done it, at least at our company EXP. And in the
No, we do it all the time.
Yeah,
So-
we do.
It's just an inclusion like furniture.
Well,
Like
we
I
can't
mean,
do furniture. The lender won't finance furniture.
okay,
They have-
if it's lending, you cannot, but you can.
Right.
Yeah, so
and
that's the issue.
everything is VA. Everything right here is conventional. Yeah, we could put it in the contract if it's a cash offer, a high enough down payment, if they're willing to pay it in there. But in order to market it to the public, our brokerage is cautious on how we want to facilitate public marketing with that. We can, and we will, but how do we do that? Still finance. So
I think you say vehicle available as part of negotiation versus not. We can talk about this offline.
I've explored this a lot. I'm working with I would love your input, sure, but they stated that even when I tried to sell furniture on a sale just the other week, we had to go revamp the entire contract because we couldn't keep furniture in the contract. We had to do a separate amendment, and then if the lender sees it, it can
or vehicle available on separate bill of sale, and it could be a bill of sale for zero if you just if the offer is good enough and they want to include it with the house.
I think I'm actually going to do that. And so the other caveat to that, and I'm derailing the show here. The other caveat to that is it's a finance vehicle.
Hey, this is good. This is good though. If you're shopping for a house, right? I mean, I've shopped for houses all the time. People and they're like, there's a Polaris in the garage, or there's a riding lawnmower or whatever, and it's like everything is negotiable, guys. So it's like if you want to throw something into the deal and the deal's sweet enough, and the seller's leaving and they don't want to deal with the car, I mean, all day long we negotiate for that stuff. So
Yeah, I have a Toyota Tacoma for sale. You just need to buy a house.
house included with the Toyota Tacoma.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. Hey, look, the layman here. I was gonna say, can't you do buy a house, get free Tesla? I mean, you buy, right?
Yeah, that's the concept. It would be clickable, but again, in the logistics, the Tesla's financed. And so in order to get the title from the bank, in order to do that, it has to be, there is a lot of logistics. Like, yes, I understand it sounds easy in theory,
it's complicated.
I went to school for paralegal. I'm like making sure I check all my boxes. I'm not getting slapped for false advertising.
Hey man, you can't get into trouble. That's it. That's the whole thing. You can't do it. All right, what do we got here for Dylan? Dylan, we are looking at what are we looking at here, buddy?
Oh, you know what? I didn't update the title of this, but this is a condo. This is not in Eden Rocks. It's a condo in
Okay.
no, the pictures and everything is updated. Just the headline's not
Okay.
updated. So
Okay.
this is
Fair
a
enough.
great condo. You know, I like to feature affordable stuff when I see great affordable stuff. And this is a very large livable condo, 1,200, almost 1,300 square feet. So 1,297 square feet. It's got 2 full bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, but it's also got like a 140 square foot loft, which in this complex is very unique. So you have a second story with could be an office or a smaller bedroom with its own lanai. Just killer unit for $555 in Waikoloa Village, and you can short-term vacation rent it. The HOAs are just over $800, and you get lots of great amenities out there with the complex. But also in Waikoloa Village, you have the golf course and the pool, and there's all kinds of stuff in the community there. And then you're right up the street from the resort. So if you want the ocean lifestyle, it's a short 10-minute drive down to the resorts and all the beaches and stuff that are available out there. So awesome opportunity for under $600K. You know, you can live pretty nice in Waikoloa.
Man, that's it's kind of
And
I love
I
seeing
also
all
did
the
something
contrast.
crazy with the pictures and made the same pictures the same. I don't know what I was doing this morning, you guys. Sorry about that, but if you want information, hit me up. I'll get you more information on this one.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, for some reason I was like so focused on what's going on in the background over here, I forgot. Yeah, well, hey, you know what? See, Dylan, you shouldn't have said anything, because if you didn't say anything, I would
Nobody
have
would
never
notice.
recognized it. I would have never noticed it. I would have never noticed it. So there you go. Hey, Marco, I think you've asked the right question. Did you ask a question that I missed, because I don't think I've seen it. So if I apologize for that. Paste your question one more time. There's no
how big is the
going
solar industry in Hawaii was his question.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
So,
yeah. The solar is,
There you go. It was the solar. Okay, got it. And you saw the 50 panels.
The simple answer is it's huge and it's saturated. Like everybody and their brother's trying to sell solar right now. So I don't know if if you're trying to get into the business, or if you think that you want just to buy solar, but it's all over the place. I mean, it's in Costco, it's in Target, it's everywhere. People can knock on your door. So they call you 3 times a day. It's saturated.
Yeah, saturated. And I have no idea how it compares to the mainland, right? I just know that we have a high degree of proliferation. I've said it already. I'm not going to repeat myself. All right. I think it's time to move on, gang, and we are going to move on to, let's see. Oh, did I nail one of the slides? Okay. Well, there's a slide missing, and that's okay. We're going to move on to the next part of our show and final part here, which is motivational thoughts. We've had everyone. We like to kind of do stuff that's motivating and positive. If you've got motivational thoughts, what things everyone's got great sayings that their favorite lines, right? Pop yours in the comments. We'd love to hear them. But let's move on first. Let's hit Ashley's first. Ashley, what is yours, and what
Can you
is
refresh the slide?
Oh, okay. Technical difficulties. All right. Let's
see.
That's all right. That's
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You millennials, man, you can't do stuff like at the last minute, man. You have to kind of come in earlier. Yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
I went in there and I saw it, and I was like, "No, that's not the right one."
Look, we love you anyway. It's all good. It's all good. So go ahead, Ashley. What's your quote, and how's it meaningful to you?
We accept the love we think we deserve. So just remember, even if you don't have someone to celebrate Valentine's Day with today, just love yourself, because you deserve it.
There you go. What a great Valentine's Day. What a great Valentine's Day thought. We accept the love we think we deserve. That is damn good. To riff on that, Ashley, I've heard another twist on it, which actually had a huge impact on my life, from Susie Orman. She said this. She said that you are paid exactly what you think you are worth. You're paid exactly what you think you are worth, not 1 penny more or less. And ever since then, I started charging $1,000 an hour for my time, and it's been great. And I never forgot that. So that was the deal right there. Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Heidi, what is your quote, and what is its meaning to you?
Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. So this just means take some time for yourself every once in a while, take a break. I was not expecting to be on Molokai an extra day, but it's really been a gift. So
Unplug, man.
getting recharged.
Unplug. Unplug. Yeah.
This just happened in our office. My wife was here trying to do some stuff and like frustrated. I'm like, hey, what's wrong? And she's like, been working on something for like 45 minutes. She's like, I can't get the printer to work. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just unplug it and plug it back in and see what happens. And then, of course, printer worked just fine. So, there you go.
That's it, man. Hey, that was a normal standard procedure with Windows for like the longest time. They've gotten way, way, way better. But back in the old days, it was like, Control Alt Delete, man. That was the thing that everybody did. Do it daily and do it often. But yeah, unplugging is big. Heidi. On that note, I mean, I've recently taken a thing I do every morning now, just about every morning. I get up in the morning. We're lucky we live near the beach. I walk down to the water and sit on the sand like at sunrise, and I meditate for half an hour. And I'm not a good meditator. My mind jumps all over the place. I don't follow through. My brain's not right and whatever. But still, I kind of do it, and it's really had a big impact. So yeah, and that's the daily. It's the morning unplug, and it's been great. Dylan, what's your quote? And how is it meaningful to you?
So this is my favorite love quote. The problem is everyone is looking for unconditional love, carrying around a bag full of conditions. And so my mom was always really big on unconditional love and always talked about it. And then I've bring that into the business world too. And I always tell folks, if we treated our business partners and our colleagues in the industry the way we treat our family, like we wouldn't have any family. Because so often I see folks in business where somebody does something, makes a mistake or does something wrong, and they cut them off and they say they're a terrible person, never going to talk to them again, versus giving them grace and showing them some unconditional love for the 99% of the time they do a good job and they do the right thing. And so we don't treat our family that way. We don't treat our kids that way. If every time we were disappointed, we stop loving people, it would be a crazy world. But we do that in business all the time. So think about that. Apply it everywhere you operate in.
That is a well said, man. That is a great theme for Valentine's Day. These excellent Valentine's Day quotes, fantastic. Hey, we've got some submissions that I want to recognize, which are really, really cool. So Susie Q says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. By Rumi. Oh, that's deep. Not seek, but seek and find the barriers that you have built against it. It means it flows. If you let it go, it will flow. You let it go, it will flow. Excellent. Thank you, Susie Q. Really appreciate that. And Alex says, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Damn, dude. That's a good one. That is a good one. And and as luck or fate would have it, right? These things are always they're always synchronistic. We did not plan this, folks. Did not plan it. But Proverbs says, do not say, I will recompense evil. In other words, pay it back. Do not say, I will recompense evil. Wait for the Lord and he will save you. In other words, you don't need to be the one that fights back against evil or that fights evil with evil. Let God handle that. You just focus on the love part. So, man, what a great Valentine's Day show. All right, folks, we are ending it. It's right there on time. So Heidi, because Heidi's got to go. Say goodbye, everybody. Clockwise, Dylan, Heidi, Ashley, say goodbye and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy President's Day weekend, everybody. Have an awesome weekend.
Have a great weekend. Aloha.
Aloha, everyone. Enjoy your long weekend, I hope.
Yeah.
Have a fabulous Valentine's Day, and thank you, Dylan. Have a fabulous President's Day. Recognize our amazing presidents. Talk to you all later. Aloha.